This class worked really, really hard to memorize their line. We're missing one student, and I will stand in for that part again. It's a great day. I have so many parts this evening. Okay.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1929. His father and grandfather were Baptist ministers. When he was a boy, Martin went to school for black children only. There were certain places he and his brother and sister could not go because of the color of their skin. He wondered why. Martin grew up to be a Baptist minister like his father and grandfather. He was called the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Many people listened to the powerful words of Martin Luther King Jr. He said he had a dream, and this dream helps change the history of our country. Martin Luther King Jr. lived at a time when there was need for change. We will see how his dream helped to bring about that change. This month we celebrate the birthday of a great American. His name is Martin Luther King Jr. Why was he so great? What? Oh.
What did he do?
What did he do? I heard of his name, but why is he so famous? Hey, why are him again? Which one of you can tell us something about Martin Luther King Jr.? Miss Olivia T?
My grandmother lives in Montgomery. That's in Alabama. She told me all about him.
Just ask your sister over here, Carly, what she told you. Carly, what did your grandma tell you?
My grandmother said that a long time ago, there was a law in Alabama that black people had to sit on the back of city buses. If a bus was crowded, they had to stand up when white people wanted their seats.
Who ever heard of a law like that? Besides, what does it have to do with Martin Luther King? Ella, that law was a bad one, and Martin Luther King Jr. set out to change it. It all started one day when a tired little black lady named Rosa Parks broke that unfair law. Sit down on the ground. All right, folks, let's get up. Lady, you're gonna move? Lady, if you don't give up your seat, I'll call the policeman out there.
Go ahead and call him.
Officer.
Lady, if the driver asked you to stand, why didn't you?
Do you think it's right that I should have to stand up for white folks?
I don't know, but the law is the law. I'll have to arrest you and take you to jail for breaking the law.
This is not a just law, and we will protest it. We will not ride the city bus of Montgomery until the law. We will walk. We will ride mules. We will drive wagons. But we will not ride the city bus of Montgomery until the law has changed. Martin Luther King and his people did not ride Montgomery buses for a whole year.
Did they change the law?
Yes, ma'am. The United States Supreme Court decided that people riding on buses could not be separated or segregated because of the color of their skin.
Then Martin Luther King won a victory for people ever in the United States, didn't he?
Yes, and it was the first of many victory voices. Dr. King became the voice of black people everywhere.
Is that all he did? Just make his speech.
George Revolution walked along.
What did he march for?
Martin Luther King was a peaceful man. He did not believe in violence. He thought marching was better than fighting. He led what were called freedom walks, or peaceful protest marches. He asked his followers to love their enemies.
So we got people to pay attention and listen?
Yes, Nico. His marches brought bad laws to the attention of people everywhere, including those who made the laws.
My grandmother remembers when black people could only eat at special restaurants for black people. They couldn't go to restaurants for white people.
Mommy, why won't anyone see me?
That's what the march was all about. Tyler, Juliana, it was about giving everyone the same rights. Was it right to have one set of rules or laws for white people and another set for those with black skin? Remember the bus. Don't you think people should sit or stand, be able to sit or stand where they please?
But I still don't understand why Martin Luther King changed things. Yeah, what did he actually do to make changes?
New laws were needed to bring change, David.
Yeah, Bill.
Martin Luther King Jr. marched and preached about the need for change and the right to equal laws and treatment for everyone. Many important people, both black and white, heard his words. They joined the Martin Luther King movement in cities all over America.
I saw something on TV that happened a long time ago. Marchers were carrying signs and there are so many people you couldn't see streets or sidewalks. Once Dr. King and his friends led 200,000 people on a march in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. It was the biggest public action by a group of people in the history of our country.
Brothers, this is a peaceful freedom march. The people of our country will see us and hear our voices.
They must know that we do laws. Laws that are the same for all people. We have marched to the Lincoln Memorial, where it's a good place to talk about equal rights and freedom.
Let's go!
Sing out for freedom.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day the red hills of Georgia and the descendant former slaves and the descendant former slaves owners will be able to sit at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will live in a nation where they will not be judged for the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. When we allow freedom to ring from every town and every hamlet, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children will be able to sit at the table, hand, and sing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, great God Almighty, free at last.
Martin Luther King.
My uncle was there. He carried a sign that said, "We want to be first-class citizens." Grandma has a picture of them.
Americans knew it was time to make new laws. The next year, in 1964, an act called the Civil Rights Act became a law. All people could use parks and stadiums and swimming pools. All restaurants, hotels, and movie theaters were open to everyone, black and white alike. peaceful ways to bring about change. Has anyone ever heard of the Nobel Peace Prize?
I've heard about it, but what it is.
Each year, a prize is given by some citizens of Norway for the promotion of world peace. Prize winners may come from any country in the world. It is a great honor to be named for this prize.
I'll let King win that prize.
Didn't he, Miss York?
Martin Luther King Jr. was the second Black and the youngest man ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. In 1964, he was invited to Norway. The world watched as King Olav V of Norway and many other famous people honored Dr. King. They said that more than anyone else had done the most to promote peaceful worlds.
I guess a lot of people love Martin Luther King. Name is York.
What was the prize? What did he win?
Dr. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Medal and $54,600.
That's a lot of money. What did he do?
He didn't keep it for himself. He used it to help his dream of freedom come true.
Man can overcome oppression and violence without resorting to violence.
Alabama. It was the year after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 opened public places to all people.
What were they marching for this time, Miss York?
Dr. King wanted everyone to know that voting laws needed changing. After that march, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was passed. It did away with tests and taxes, which had stopped many Black citizens from voting.
I guess lots of people.
I guess lots of people love Martin Luther King. Didn't they, Miss York?
He had many followers, but many people did not think as he did. There were those who wanted to fight and stop him from making changes in the laws.
Did somebody want to hurt him? What happened?
Somebody shot him?
In 1968, Martin Luther King went to Memphis, Tennessee, to help the garbage workers. He and some friends were standing on the balcony at his motel. Suddenly, the echo of a shot was heard, and Martin Luther King slumped to the floor. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed by an assassin. A man filled with hate took the life of a man who preached love.
What a terrible thing happened to such a good man.
People around the world wept and mourned the death of Martin Luther King Jr. He died a young man, but his spirit and accomplishments live on today. In his 39 years of life, Martin Luther King changed America's thinking about the human rights of all people.
Stand up and take a bow, everybody.